few stuck back here. Let's see what ages we got.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's stuff for Russell's 13. Oh. Well, there's a 2007 there. Let's try that one. 18 years old's not too bad.
What happens in those barrels you can't completely explain.
There you go.
I always think there's a little bit of magic there. Beautiful color, look at that.
Ain't got much to say, whiskey's damn good.
that's really good. When you talk about working with family, I always said it's one of the hardest things you could ever do. And working for somebody that was considered the Michael Jordan of the bourbon industry was not easy at all. But for me, it was always just making the whiskey. That's where the true love for me really came. It felt like home from the beginning.
Wild Turkey continues to bear the mantle of tradition and a noble heritage.
When I started here in 1981, of course, Jimmy, my father, he was everything at that time. I came in, he said, you need to work twice as hard as everybody else. I should have got that hint right there.
We feel that we make the best bourbon in the world, and it's been proven time after time that we do.
Legend, Baron, Bourbon God. You can't have a better phrase for Jimmy Russell than the Buddha of bourbon. He is so respected and well-liked in the industry. He's family, and that's not BS.
Everybody loves Jimmy. People stop by and see him. He's out there signing their bottles or telling them stories.
Jimmy Russell is like the George Washington of American whiskey and like a Borscht Belt comedian because he's hysterical. You meet him and you think, oh my God, hello, sir. You want to like kiss his feet or something. He's like, come on, get the hell up.
Randy, Joe, and Mimi, they were my heroes growing up. They were where I wanted to spend my summers.
People that come from everywhere to get Mr. Russell's autograph when he's just my neighbor from Alton, you know.
He's such a creature of habit. The nicest way to put it, I think, would be like stubborn.
You don't mess around with Jimmy's whiskey.
He's so confident in his own opinions in bourbon. His whole mantra, this is my whiskey. If you don't like it, you're wrong.
You come in and you think, I want to change everything. And then I realized the reason Jimmy was who he was because he stuck his foot in the ground and says, we don't need to change. He wanted to make sure that I was doing things what he calls the right way.
I remember when he started, he just so laid back and just nothing ruffled him. You know, his dad, of course, was the boss, so he took a little flack for that.
Jimmy started him out at the bottom. I mean, literally at the bottom.
Union employee, bottom man on the list, pulling, pushing, rolling barrels, standing barrels up. It's not an easy job.
He made him earn his stripes. You just can't give him something. For him to be respected, he has to do what the other guys did.
Eddie never wanted anybody to feel like he got something because he was Jimmy's son. He was humble. He never came home early or took a long lunch.
I worked every job there, from receiving corn to the bottles going out the door. And that's Jimmy's way. I can tell you, but it's much better off if you get in there and learn it yourself. Come the first Friday, the first week I was there, we were all getting ready to go home. And everybody sort of disappeared, and I'm standing on the porch going, what happened to everybody? One of my friends says, oh, they go up and have a little taste for the weekend. I'm thinking, well, why didn't they invite me? And he looked at me like, you're Jimmy's son. Anybody that's worked in the industry knows sugar barrels. They're the barrels that your employees are getting a little sip out of. There was an old supervisor named Hayes Mattingly, he'd been here for 40-some years. He walked up to me and says, I don't care who you are, son, come on, I want to show you something. He took me up onto those middle floors and took a little taste out of the 10-year-old barrel. And I stood there and I could feel it go through every vein of my body. And that was the beginning of my thoughts of I was going to drink whiskey for Eddie Russell, and it was going to be off those metal floors.
My grandfather has such a specific idea about what good whiskey is. But Dad doesn't like the same whiskey that Jimmy does. And so he had to figure out a way to put his whiskey out into the world. We're on Jimmy Mountain, and Dad had to carve out his own path in Jimmy Mountain.
People think Kentucky, and they might imagine, a thoroughbred horse or two out on a pasture behind a white picket fence. But whiskey Kentucky, it's a different vibe.
Growing up here in Lawrenceburg, people didn't look at the bourbon industry as, a big deal. Very laid back, slow paced. That's what we loved about it, is nobody got in a hurry for anything, sort of like our bourbon business.
Here we have a saying, you're either from here or you come here. And we're from here people. We all grew up in it together.
When I started, it was family. Everybody was family. You knew their grandkids, their dogs. That's just the way it was.
They're just good people. I've been here my whole life. I love Kentucky other than the cold weather.
People work here for decades and decades, and then their kids work here. There is this sense of pride, of working hard and learning it the hard way.
They see themselves as one big whiskey family. It's just part of their DNA.
It was like family.
Yeah.
It's just in your blood, and the people are in your blood, and I've been here 49 years. You gotta like it, or you wouldn't be here that long.
You think about bourbon's heyday. You look at the 50s and 60s, right? The Mad Men culture. Everybody was having, 3 old fashions at lunch. You hit the 70s, and bourbon just, fell off a cliff.
Bourbon was something that your grandparents drank, your parents drank.
Even domestically, we saw the trend move toward clear spirits. Vodka, gin, everybody was drinking vodka martinis. Sex on the beach and those awful fishbowl-sized cocktails. A lot of distilleries closed. You were seeing production go down, and you were seeing brands go belly up. I remember, the 2 liquor stores I went to back then. You'd have to walk to the back of the store to find the bourbon.
You hear stories of them traveling, they're going to Japan or Australia, speaking the good word of why bourbon whiskey is important to the world.
They kept us afloat. Without our Japanese consumer, we probably wouldn't have made it in the long term.
Even as bourbon was declining, I kept telling our company, this is a good product.
Bourbon is like a roller coaster. It's up, down, up, down, up, down. So when Eddie got approached to develop something for Jimmy's 45th anniversary, he was thrilled.
Our company wanted to have a big party, so they came to me and said, we've always wanted to do something for Jimmy, and I think this would be the perfect time. I was looking at those middle floors to keep that certain taste that I want. Everything goes in the barrels the same at the beginning, but as it ages, some of those barrels will give you fruity notes, caramel notes. And I love that 10-year age, a little more of the sweetness, a little more of those refined notes, but not too much, because Jimmy was that big, bold bourbon. You had to have that in there.
I just remember thinking, man, he really cares about this, because he had never made anything before. There's this added excitement, but also added pressure. I'm making something for somebody that I know is at the top of this industry.
It was always, I want to make sure Jimmy approves. Go into his office and just set it down in front of him. And, I came in with some of that first batch, and it's not 101, what is this? He didn't really like anything I did, So as I did that probably 3 or 4 times, then when I went in with that last one, Jimmy's like, what is this? With that nice look on his face. This is good. And it's like, yes. It was just like, I knew it. I went back to our company and I said, I've got what we need. That was super fun to me, is seeing people's faces taste and go, This is not what we're used to. And that's exactly what I wanted.
The company came to him and said, we'd like you to make more of that whiskey. But still, Russell's didn't become what it was until years and years later.
Our headquarters are in New York, and brand manager pulls me aside and he says, now, Russell's was just going to be for that party. If Jimmy don't like this, we're telling him it's your fault. And I'm like, that's cool, because everything's my fault, according to Jimmy. So about a year later, we released Russell's as a little small batch. Ooh, there's plenty of it. Hey, and it's Wild Turkey, there's the cork.
Yeah, he's got a different cork.
Spinning up this brand kind of on the precipice of the bourbon boom is fortuitous. And there is a little bit of luck in all forms of business.
When the bartenders started making those classic cocktails again, and that changed everything. After 9/11, it became, what's the most American thing in America? Bourbon whiskey. And it started making these young bartenders looking back at the old recipes.
The industry was still in a downturn, and Eddie Russell really had to take it to another level. He had to be a little bit more innovative and a little bit more forward-thinking.
20, 30 years ago, there might have been 2 bottles of bourbon behind the bar. Now there could be 40. How do you cut through that noise? Eddie's focus on the bartending community is really savvy.
I grew up in the generation where it was mainly older gentlemen drinking bourbon. And I wanted the younger generation, men and women, you know, so coming out with products that I thought would reach those people.
Getting out into the market, young, curious, excited. I wouldn't be who I am today without Eddie's guidance.
When the 10-year-old went to 90 proof and it became a shelfer, and it was like the first permanent thing that had Dad's name on it and was available everywhere, that was a big deal.
The bartenders, they started telling customers what the good brands were. And suddenly bourbon and rye were cool again.
When single barrel picks started for Russell's, people started chasing warehouses, especially when they started hearing about Eddie's favorite warehouses.
I was the only master distiller doing barrel picks.
When you do these barrel picks, you are with Eddie in the rick house, finding barrels that he's got tucked away, memorized in some map in his head. It is such a personal experience with him.
The private barrel program was the first time when our consumers got really focused on a rick house, where they sit next to a window. You know, they wanted to know every little part of where the barrel aged.
The fact that you can tie some really amazing products in the Russell's lineup to a particular place, it's almost as important as tying a brand to a particular person or a particular family. People love that.
Doing the single barrel program brought a craze up here to Camp Nelson. It was such a great opportunity to bring out that Rick House series.
It was almost like a collaboration between the consumer
100%,
and us, because once they started going crazy for specific warehouses and we started tasting the whiskey, we knew something special was going on.
We started to grow the age statement on Russell's.
A 10-year-old bourbon isn't something that you can make today and have ready tomorrow. You have to believe in that future, you know, a decade prior.
I loved that 10 to 15-year-old stuff, even though Jimmy was looking at me like I was crazy, you know, because Jimmy didn't like older whiskey. Nobody's really putting that type whiskey out.
Russell's 13 whiskey of the year blew my mind at that time because we weren't the type of brand that won that type of stuff. Originally a $70 bottle sitting on a shelf. Won whiskey of the year over bottles that cost thousands of dollars. Russell's 15, not only whiskey of the year, but was actually named the best whiskey of this century since like 2000 so far.
You're lucky if that bottle even makes it to the shelf. People are standing in line for hours, camping out overnight.
I think Dad has seen it as a way for him to carve out his own legacy. It catapulted us into a completely other stratosphere, dude. Sold out everywhere, broke the whiskey internet.
Having these digital spaces where people could start to have those conversations, that's really how the mystique was built. You have this baseline expectation of whiskey that your fans have fallen in love with. Giving us something that was a little bit older was deviating from the standard that Jimmy laid down. Like, that was a genuine risk.
Right now, we haven't hit a point yet where I don't think we can do something even better. But yeah, you do worry about, is there a point we can't do that anymore?
for years, Dad had to be under his father. It's not something that came easy for Dad. He had to work hard, and he had to earn that respect from Jimmy, chipping away day in, day out. He was going to make him learn it on his own before he ever told him, good job, or I'm proud of you, or even like, yeah, you figured it out. But Dad's proven that if you put what you think the best whiskey is into a bottle, you're worthy of earning that respect. Jimmy, I've only ever seen him kind of get torn up or emotional a few times in my life. And one of those was when he inducted Dad into the Hall of Fame. I could tell it was really special for both of them.
It's rare to see Jimmy cry. But he cried that day. And so did Eddie. Because this was his son going into the Hall of Fame, but it was his son carving out his own legacy.
In my mind, a master distiller is somebody that if nobody else showed up from work, you could make the whiskey. It was important to Eddie because that's something selected by your peers. So he was thrilled to be, and his dad was thrilled for him to be in it. Yeah. It makes me emotional now.
When I look at people that I consider Dad's peers, Dad's as good or better than any of them. And I think Russell's has really cemented that. Yeah.
That's what I like, color, nose, and then taste. Ooh, it all goes good.
Not for an 18-year-old, it's awesome. It's not often you get whiskey that tastes like this.
No.
It's the fun part about Russell's is it's our chance to find stuff like this, honestly, and just stick it in a bottle and see what people think about it.
Eddie is a bridge between worlds. He's bridging the Jimmy Russell generation of guys who are making classic bourbon and this kind of newer generation, which is more open to experimentation.
That's what's so cool about having the three different generations, you know. Jimmy didn't want me to do any of that stuff.
But that's why I keep telling people, don't worry, I'm going to be the best blender that's ever existed because Dad's got a lot of good 10 to 15-year-old whiskey out of Camp Nelson he made that I'll get to put into a bottle.
Jimmy likes a profile of whiskey that's a little different than what Eddie likes. It's a little different than what Bruce likes. You're seeing a difference of opinions and you're seeing different flavor preferences across generations, meaning the Russell's profile will continue to evolve.
We just tasted his 45th anniversary together in the lab for the first time. Sharing that flavor, sharing that moment, sharing that special barrel is his favorite thing to do. And that's how we've kind of built our bond.
My son understands we're part of it and we're continuing on with the legacy.
Bourbon. It's the great connector. What's in a glass can get two people talking who might never have sat down and enjoyed something together.
And that's what whiskey's all about. It's about those connections. It's about sharing a moment with somebody and building relationships. And I'm just lucky enough that I've got to do it with my family.
So I actually called some of the master distillers and said, what do you think of when you think of Eddie Russell? The most, everybody said, was gentleman. Eddie is a consummate Kentucky gentleman. Genuine, funny, respected, family, legend, giant, humble, pride of ownership. He earned it, and true to his craft. That's the highest honor in Kentucky.
For me, it wasn't about being that guy out on the road, the person that everybody thought of as the rock star. I wanted to be that person that stood true to his convictions. I mean, that's what my dad preached to me. You can make all the money in the world, but being happy and living a good life in a small town, that's the reason I stayed. This is where I belong. If I could still be at the distillery picking barrels and tasting whiskey, I'd be like Jimmy. I'd be 70-some years in. And still to this day, it's, how's it feel to walk in Jimmy's shoes? I was never going to fill them shoes. I'm just going to slip them on and head my own way.
She keeps calling me back. I ain't leaving here for nothing. I'm gonna give it all I can. Shoulder to shoulder, off the old familiar path. I bet it on the barrel, bet it on the past. Now looking out the window, no, there's no turning back. Better give what you have in your bones. Carve out your place